Hey YouTube, it's Louie here, and today we're diving into a gripping mystery. Who betrayed Anne Frank? She's the young girl whose diary became a symbol of resilience during one of history's darkest times. Today we're counting down the top 5 suspects who might have played a role in betraying the Frank family. Who turned her in to the Nazis? Or was she really betrayed? That and more coming up next. In her best-selling memoir, Anne Frank humanized the Holocaust by recounting her family's 2-year hiding in the Amsterdam secret annex. Yet, 57 years after her death in Bergen-Belsen, the question of who betrayed Anne and the 7 others remains unanswered. As you recall, on August 4, 1944, an anonymous tip to the German security service exposed their hiding place. If it had not been for a betrayer, they could have been able to survive through the Jewish Holocaust. Who turned them in? First on the list is what historians call the main suspect, the warehouse manager. The anonymous tip that led to the exposure of the secret annex inhabitants, including Anne Frank, came through a phone call to the German security service. And on a warm summer day in 1944, 4 German and Dutch security police pulled up to the warehouse and asked the employee, Wilhelm van Maren, where the Jews were hiding. Van Maren pointed up to the stairs, but the police already seemed to know exactly where to go. Hours earlier, Karl Josef Silberbauer, the Austrian commander of the squad, received a phone call from the head of the Amsterdam security police who said 8 Jews were hiding in the warehouse. A petty thief and unsavory braggart, Van Maren was investigated shortly after the war, but nothing was proved. The case was reopened in 1963 after an Austrian Nazi hunter located Silberbauer in the Vienna police force. But the evidence against Van Maren was again inconclusive, and he died in 1971, professing his innocence. Historians made no further headway. Did Van Maren betray the Frank family? Let me know in the comment section below. Suspect number 2 is Otto Frank's business associate Anton Ehlers. Ehlers, characterized as a vehement anti-Semite, had amassed a substantial criminal record by the early 1940s. He had actively participated in various altercations within the Jewish-owned cafes. Throughout the war, he collaborated with the Germans by reporting Jews and members of the Dutch underground. In 1945, Ehlers faced trial for his wartime actions and was subsequently incarcerated. What is interesting about this suspect is that his purported betrayal to the Frank family was confirmed by no less than his son in 2002. Everyone, including his own family, condemned him as distinctly anti-Jewish and a thoroughly unpleasant character. In fact, a book theorizes that Ehlers not only turned in the Frank family, but also may have blackmailed Otto Frank for years after the war, receiving payment for his silence about Frank's business with Nazi Germany at the beginning of World War II. The German-born Frank, who moved to Holland in 1933, ran a spice trading company that sold goods to the Wehrmacht, the German army. The business continued to operate while the Franks were in hiding, although it apparently was no longer trading with the Germans. When Frank returned from Auschwitz in 1945, having lost his wife and 2 daughters, he may have feared that his company would be confiscated if his pre-war business with Germany became known. Ehlers probably decided to tip off the authorities after his own company slid into bankruptcy and he no longer needed to do business with Frank. Otto Frank was of no more use to him in that sense, so he betrayed him. What do you think? Could he be the one? Comment down your reaction below, and while you're at it, smash that like button and subscribe. Now let's go to suspect number 3, Arnold Vandenberg. A comprehensive 6-year investigation led by a retired FBI agent, Vince Pankow, has identified Arnold Vandenberg, a Jewish notary, as the probable informant responsible for disclosing the hiding place of the Franks to the Nazis. The suggestion is that Vandenberg might have divulged this information to safeguard his own family from deportation. In his role as a member of the local Jewish Council, which were administrative bodies instituted by the Nazis to govern Jewish communities in German-occupied Europe, Vandenberg had access to lists containing addresses where Jews were known to be concealing their whereabouts. The crucial breakthrough in solving the mystery came in the form of an unsigned note sent to Otto Frank shortly after his return to Amsterdam in June 1945. This note identified Vandenberg as the individual who had reported the Franks' hiding place to the Nazis. Despite the note being discovered during a 1963 investigation into the betrayal, it received minimal attention from authorities. Instead, the focus of the police efforts was directed toward suspects like Van Maren, diverting attention from the potentially significant information contained in the note. Otto Frank, and Frank's father for his part, refrained from publicly identifying Vandenberg, who passed away in 1950 as the informant. However, a few years after the war, Otto Frank shared with a journalist that his family had been betrayed by a member of the Jewish community. Whoa, this is getting interesting, but wait until you get into suspect number 5. Our suspect number 4 is the only woman on this list, cleaning lady Lena Hark van Bladeren. Lena Hark van Bladeren is mentioned in some theories surrounding the betrayal of Anne Frank and the occupants of the secret annex. The theory suggests that Lena, a cleaning woman who had connections with the Dutch Nazi Party, might have been involved in disclosing the hidden location to the authorities. According to this theory, Lena could have had access to information about the Frank family's hiding place due to her work and connections. And now we're down to the last person on the list. But before that, please subscribe to this channel and hit the like button if you want me to make more videos like this in the near future. So yeah, moving forward, the next person in the list is actually non-existent, because many scholars believe Anne Frank and her family was not betrayed at all. Anne Frank might not have been deliberately handed over to the Nazi occupiers, but might have been captured randomly, according to a recent study released by the Anne Frank House Museum in Amsterdam. Despite numerous years of investigation, they say that there is no definitive proof that Anne Frank and her family were betrayed to the German occupiers in the Netherlands, resulting in their arrest and subsequent deportation. In autumn of 1945, Otto Frank sought to discover their betrayer, convinced they had been betrayed. While understandable, as many fell into German hands due to betrayal during the occupation, no concrete evidence supports this claim in their case. Research for a long time centered on betrayal as the suspected cause of the arrest, but it has delivered nothing conclusive. But let me ask you, who do you think betrayed Anne Frank? Or would you subscribe to the idea that they were not betrayed at all? Let's talk in the comment section below. That's all for now. Always remember, guys, to keep your brain cells healthy, stay curious. See you in the next video.